This is example 1.2 on page 16 of our textbook, and here the question reads, a sick child has a temperature of 40 degrees Celsius. What is the child's temperature in both Kelvin and degrees Fahrenheit? So for this problem, I have written at the bottom two equations we're going to use. So the first is converting from Kelvin to degrees Celsius. It's a pretty easy equation. If you have the temperature in degrees Celsius, you just add 273.15 and you convert your temperature to Kelvin. Our second equation that we have here is how to calculate degrees Celsius given degrees Fahrenheit. So what we're going to have to do to this second equation is manipulate it a little using algebra in order to isolate degrees Fahrenheit by itself. And then we can plug in our degrees Celsius that we're given and solve for temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. So first we'll start with the easier of the two. So we're going to be using our Kelvin is equal to degrees Celsius plus 273.15. So our problem states that our child has a temperature of 40 degrees Celsius. So Kelvin is going to be equal to 40 degrees Celsius plus 273.15, which if we add those together, you should get a value of 313.15 Kelvin. So that's our first answer. I will highlight that for us. Answer number 1. Second, we're going to figure out our temperature in Fahrenheit. This is the one that probably is going to mean more to us because we're used to checking people's temperatures in degrees Fahrenheit. So before we can plug into our equation, we have degrees C is equal to degrees Fahrenheit minus 32 over 1.8. So my goal is to get degrees Fahrenheit by itself so we can set it equal to what we're solving for. So to do that, I'm going to multiply both sides by 1.8. And then, once we have degrees Fahrenheit minus 32 by itself, I'm going to add 32 to both sides. So that's going to give me my equation. Having some issues with my pen. It's going to give me my equation, degrees Fahrenheit is equal to 1.8 times degrees Celsius plus 32. And in the future, if you don't feel like solving this equation, you can always memorize it if you're asked to go from Celsius to Fahrenheit. It's up to you. So now that we have our equation, we can solve for degrees Fahrenheit. So Fahrenheit is equal to 1.8 times our given Celsius, which is stated in the problem, 40 degrees, plus 32. So if we do 1.8 times 40, get that number, and then add 32 to it, we get that our Fahrenheit temperature is 104.00. Now that number should mean a little bit more to you. That's a pretty high fever for this child. So that's how you solve for Kelvin and Fahrenheit given degrees Celsius.